OMG. Hello, everyone. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I know we got a lot of ice going on around here, and I'm not just talking about the ice that's outside. We got ice everywhere. So we're going to wind up having a good time tonight. Of course, I have my wonderful co host, Del Frey is on, and then we also have a special guest, Antoinette. Let me hold on. Attorney Antoinette Harris is on tonight. So I am looking forward to hearing what she has to say because, Lord, we got some tea tonight. But let me tell y'all, we are definitely going to make sure that we give out some shout outs and stuff. And I definitely, before we even get started, I definitely want to shout out Blue Horizon for everything that they do. They definitely do a lot by helping a lot of candidates, first time candidates, and second round candidates too. I would definitely want to shout them out. So thank y'all, Blue Horizon, for everything that you have done for all of us candidates to be able to run and be stress free. So the second person I want to shout out is Tilly. Tilly, she is doing an amazing job. So if you are a brand new candidate or you need help with your branding, I want you to reach out to Tilly Media. Very good person that is young Democrat that is working hard on making sure that she brands everybody the right way. So I definitely want to shout out Tilly Media. So yeah, just before I got came on air, of course I'm watching WFA, and they're talking about the AG and who's running on the Republican side. I can't even listen. I don't even want to remember these people's names, but the mega guy, he's against Chuck Roy. Now we all dislike Chuck Roy because Chuck Roy just be on a whole nother page of craziness sometimes, and then sometimes he does do a little of the right thing. Maybe because he ain't had his coffee or something. I don't know. Because Chuck Roy, he's just a drama queen all the time. But of course, he's going to be facing him. He's the only with only two Republicans running for AG, and of course, on the Democrat side, you got a couple of folks that's running. So we're going to see how that's going to turn out. Now, y'all know we had some debates going on this weekend, and we definitely want to get into that. We had the big debate was between Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico. A few days ago. I know y'all was enjoying watching that because hey, we had our wines and coffee and whatever else that you like to drink to watch that debate because we couldn't get outside. So we watched that debate. And not only did we have that debate over in Denton County, we had a debate at the Progressive event with Ernest Linebereger and Stephen Shook. So that we have some things that we want to talk about. And of course, what's always on the subject is ice. Ice, ice, baby. I can't make this stuff up. Every day is something different. But I'm going to bring on Del Frey and our special guest tonight, Antoinette, Attorney Antoinette Harris.
Hi,
Yeah, I'm not.
everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Stephanie.
How are you guys faring the weather down there in Dallas? Do you guys still have ice on the roads, or is it melted away yet?
Most of it has melted away on my street. I have not ventured out today to see what it's like, but a lot of it has melted just on my little street here in Mesquite.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I did brave the roads today. The main roads are not too bad. It's the roads by, and the off roads are kind of a little bit icy right now. But thankfully, I have a 4-wheel drive vehicle, so I was good today.
Love that.
But
Love it.
but yeah, Stephanie, let's actually first go into introductions first. Antoinette, tell us who you are and what you're running for.
Hi, everyone. My name is Antoinette N. Harris. I am your number one candidate for Dallas County Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2, Place 2. I'm originally from Alexandria, Louisiana. I moved to Texas in 2019, and I'm excited to be with you all here today.
Awesome, awesome.
Well, we're very excited to have you on, and I'm excited because you're my girl from Louisiana, and Mardi Gras coming. We got
I
stuff.
know. I have missed king cake for 8 years now, y'all. I have not had a slice, and I am fiending for it. So if anybody out there wants to send me a king cake, let me know. DM me. I will send you my address.
Now I'm having a special event on the 15th, so there will be plenty of Cajun stuff there.
Okay. Send me the details, ma'am.
I definitely will. I definitely will. I'm like you. I haven't been home in I don't know when, and have not had that Mardi Gras cake, that king cake, and I'm like, you just can't, y'all. If you from Louisiana, then you understand exactly what I'm talking about. You can't just go to the grocery store, and I'm not gonna mention no names, and just go get one of their king cakes because it's not gonna taste like the original king cake. You got to have that king cake that's not dry.
Right. They're moist. I like it from Shipley's. I will say that. Now, judge me however you want. But I'm a Shipley's girl. I was raised on Shipley's. My mama used to work at Shipley's. So
Okay.
before I came around. So I think it's kind of in my blood to have a little bias for Shipley's.
Listen, I'm with you on that. And I'm gonna tell you before we even get started. I'm sitting up here calling around trying to get some crawfish, and the lady told me, she said, "No, no, no, tomorrow, tomorrow." I said, "Are you sure tomorrow? Because it's not February yet."
That's funny. That is funny.
I'm ready for the crawfish. I'm ready for the top crawfish. Dale, what you got going on? You managing to survive in the coldness?
Oh yeah, this is nothing for me. I'm originally from upstate New York by the Finger Lakes. My earliest memories are being snowed into our house and losing power. So
Oh, wow.
this is just familiar to me. So yeah, yeah. The only thing that's different is the fact that Texas doesn't. It makes sense. They don't have as much salt in preparation with salt as much as northern states do, but that's to be expected because things like this rarely happen down here in Texas. In fact, I don't. When was the last time we saw snow? I don't think we saw any last year at all, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, we had it last year.
It was
Oh,
a bit.
okay.
I think it ices over every year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not really
it's
snow.
nothing.
Ice storm.
Yeah, it's always in January or right. What is it? The middle part of February. I hope we don't have it because last time we had that big ice storm was shut down. The power grid was almost 5 years ago. So we hope that this February that we don't have that because we don't have COVID, so we can get out and about. Because that was the year that COVID just shut the whole country down. So definitely, y'all just make sure that y'all careful on the roads because I don't know if y'all been out, but I had to go out to my W-2. These people can't drive, especially
No. And you
big
know
old.
what? That was something I really had to get accustomed to. Now I went to law school in Southern. Now people in Baton Rouge, no shade, no tea, but the drivers in Baton Rouge are not equipped. I don't know who gave them their license or why. I learned that in law school. Now I'm here and I thought it was bad out there, but this is probably the worst I've ever driven in. I'm not the best driver myself. My high school classmates, they voted me worst driver, and I feel like they really put that spirit on me before I could ever really get out into the world. And it's just I haven't been able to break it. But I can say I don't just be cutting people off like the Dallas folks do, and just you know driving 75 miles an hour on the 35. It's a bit much going on around here.
Yes, I agree with you. It's just, we Texas has turned into the melting pot where you got a little bit of everything going
Mm,
on out here, and
yeah.
that's what's going to bring us into our first topic.
Okay.
Whew. Okay, so y'all know we talking about ice and not just the ice outside. We got
Right.
ice going on all throughout Minnesota,
Mhm.
Minneapolis especially, and also here in Texas. We have ice, and there's been ice raised up in Arlington. There's been ice raised all throughout. And the guy that's running for AG, and I forgot his name, and I don't want to really remember it, but he's running. He's a MAGA guy, and he's running, and he got up there and said that he wants to get rid of any official that does not sign the 287G. And I'm like, wow. So you're gonna make somebody do something that they don't want to do for their constituents. You want them to do what you want to do. Even though these people are not picking up people that are actually illegal or that actually are criminals, they're picking up American citizens. How are you gonna pick up someone that is American Indian? They were here before you. How you gonna pick them up and put them in jail? How you gonna go and put a 5-year old? Yeah, I get it, the dad ran, but how are you gonna go get the 5-year old, scare the hell out of that 5-year old, so that 5-year old is not gonna trust police officers or anyone that looks like they're police officers that could possibly help them in the future? How are you gonna sit up there and justify this? Make it make sense. And I think they flew them from Minnesota to Texas. So make it make sense. I don't know. What you got?
Well, I'll say this. I'm not surprised by anything that's going on right now, right? This administration already showed us what it's capable of before we ever got here. So anything that happens at this point, I anticipate it. I anticipate unrest because throughout the entire first administration, that's what we saw was civil unrest. So to see it now in a more extreme manner is what I already anticipated. They want to make America great again, and that means winding back time to where people didn't have as many civil rights. That a time where law enforcement was able to do things that violated people's constitutional rights, and it was okay. We made some progress in the civil rights movement, but the goal of the majority at this point, and I hope some of them are having buyer's remorse, but to each their own. I'm not surprised by what's going on. I mean, we're talking about a man who incited a riot on his way out. So you can't expect him to come in and everything be peaceful. That's just not what this administration is about. Politics nowadays is so extreme. It's either you're ready to murder someone in the street or you just sit at home and don't do anything. And for me, I would like us to try to strike a balance there. Our parties have got to stop with these extremes and work together towards a common middle ground where we can actually get things done effectively. I don't know if that's going to happen with the current administration right now. I think a lot of the problem that people are having with what ICE is doing is not immigration enforcement. I don't think anybody has a real issue with that. I think the issue is the manner in which it's being carried out. I think it's a brutal and animalistic way of going about enforcing immigration law. And I think that's what most of the current administration's critics have a problem with. I don't think the issue is immigration because Obama, he enforced immigration. They say he had them in cages and all of this. I don't know about that. But I think the level of violence and the aggression that's being shown towards people who may or may not be here legally is the problem. And I think the profiling of people who are actually citizens is what people are taking issue with and what's inciting the civil unrest that we're seeing in Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will say that we should have seen this coming from a mile away. The Trump administration operates based on vibes and feelings, and they've been telling their base for the longest time, quote, they have to battle the quote enemy within, end quote, and they kept pushing the stigmatism over and over again. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they say, "Hey, join ICE. We're employing. You'll get a job that pays well. Also, you'll have a mask, and no one will know your identity." Right? I mean, it's all set up in a way to introduce chaos. And it's one of those things where I think there are multiple actors here. I don't think Donald Trump has the intelligence to actually put this together himself. I think he has a lot of people who are speaking into his ear, and I think there's probably a lot of racists along his side. and Trump is just following along and listening to the people around him. Because let's be honest and real here, Trump is in severe cognitive decline. He's not always aware of his own surroundings and what he's doing. It's people like Stephen Miller who really scare the shit out of me, and many others who are kind of guiding Trump in this particular direction. And it's I, I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but what I worry is that they set things up in a way that was destined to cause chaos and distrust between law enforcement and the people. And the harder and harder they push, the more and more chaos ensues, the more and more capability Trump may have or an excuse to have to call for martial law, right? Because we're hitting a point where I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know if people are going to start eventually start killing ICE officers. I mean, it's hitting that point where they're killing us, right? They're just killing us. The last guy who got shot, I mean, they shot him multiple times, right? And they have this excuse of saying, "Oh, he had a gun." It's completely nonsensical to say, "Oh, well, he had a gun on him," when these people said they care about gun rights, right? Like the same party that cares so much about gun rights now said, "Oh, well, he was in public and had a gun, and so therefore they shot him multiple times." I mean, not to go off on a tangent, so I'll get back on. I'll
11
undo off my
times.
tangent, but yeah, well, I
11
mean,
times.
what I worry about is that what how much chaos will it take until people really start getting pissed off and actually start pushing back in the same way that they're pushing onto us. That's what I worry about. Because if
So,
the chaos really actually goes this far, there may be an excuse to declare martial law, or I don't know how far that will fly. Thankfully, it does seem they're kind of stepping back a little bit. Like Greg Abbott even basically said, "Oh, the optics here don't look good." Well, of course not. They just murdered multiple people. But
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off on that, but Greg Abbott gonna hurry up and rebuttal that real quick because
oh, sure,
he signed that bill to let
yeah,
anybody carry without a license, and Texas don't play that. You come down here, I'm not gonna call us crazy or nuts or whatever, but Texas is a different type of breed. First of all, two things you're not gonna mess with. You're not gonna mess with their guns, and you sure not gonna mess with their beer. You do those two things right there, they gonna hurt you. So I suggest them not to bring ice down here. And I know that this guy that I will not name is sitting up here trying to push for that 287G bill for everybody to sign it. And there's some blue counties, they're like, nope, we ain't doing it. Unfortunately, Denton County did not have anybody with no balls to go ahead and say, no, we're not doing that. Our people are doing just fine without it. Go ahead, Dale. Go ahead. You
well,
know how I am.
I'll say this. I I can't say that I stand fully and firmly with completely abolishing ICE. I can't say that because we need that enforcement agency. But I do think that the manner in which this administration is carrying out the enforcement needs to be revisited from the federal level all the way down to the state level. It has to be because, and I said this before on your show, and it caused a little bit of, I tend to shake things up. I've said this before and I will say it again. We are in the midst of what I call a civil war because the government has turned on its own people and started going against the interests of its own people and not just attacking its own people, but taking their life. That is going to cause a problem because if enough of United States citizens who are not ICE members, if enough of them die, what you're going to see is going to pale in comparison to what happened in 2020 after George Floyd. It's going to pale in comparison because it was just us as Black people that were and our allies that were all riled up. But if you get a different race or multiple races involved in this, and they all are on the same page of we're at war, like Dale said, martial law is going to have to come into effect. And at that point, we've declared war on our own selves. So I
Yeah,
really urge whoever out there can have an influence on the higher ups, please have a conversation about how can we go about doing this in a different way, in a way that's a little bit more civilized. instead of breaking into people's homes, instead of being too quick to pull that trigger. How can we go about this in a more civilized manner?
Yeah. Well, I will say
Yeah.
this, and I remember the previous episode you were talking about. One of our candidates used to serve in the armed forces, and he wasn't quite sure how he felt about using the term Civil War. But I will say this: here's another viewpoint that I didn't get the chance to say last time when that came up. Is that I don't know why I do this, but I probably watch a lot more of Infowars with Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes than I really should. And I will tell you this: the people who watch that kind of show, OAN and Infowars, the Groyper Wars, their audience genuinely actually thinks that they're in a civil war right now. I mean, people who watch those kind of shows are crazy. They think they're fighting the actual literal devil, right? These people who believe in the conspiracy theories and things like that, the people who are into like the John Birch Society and stuff like that. When you have an agency that says, "Hey, come work for us, ICE. We'll pay you well. Also, you'll be anonymous. You'll be masked." I can see people who think that they're in a literal civil war right now saying, "Oh, what a great opportunity." I could see those people. So, do I believe we're in an actual civil war? No, but there's a lot of other people who do think they're in a civil war, and they are very heavily armed, and they have a lot of power right now if they choose to work for ICE. And the issue here and why it keeps escalating is because in it's just gonna. I don't really know. I'm gonna pass this back off to Steph because I'm kind of tripping on my own tongue right now. Whether or not we're in a civil war is a very complicated conversation. I suppose officially, like the government itself would have to declare war upon itself for it to be the dictionary term of that. But at the same time, too, it depends upon your point of view. I will say this before too, as mentioned in the previous episode, we're at a point where people are not getting their due process.
Mhm.
First of all, people are not getting their due process when they were simply deported out of the country and sent to prisons in other countries. But now you're just getting shot on the street. So, what do you call this? I'm not quite sure, but it's certainly absolutely chaos. Steph, on to you.
It is called civil unrest right now. And what's going on behind the scene, I feel as though they're already getting our soldiers ready to either they're going to be on our side or they're going to have to turn their weapons against us. So if that happens where they're turning their weapons against us, boots on the ground is fighting the people, then that is exactly when you're gonna have civil war. Right now, we're not there yet, but we're getting dang on close to it because he wants people to act up, and I'm talking about the president. He wants people to act up. He wants to be just as low down and as dirty and ratchet as he possibly can, and that's what he picked the most ghettoish mixed group of males that don't have no respect for no one. So it's possibly those are his January 6th thugs that are sitting up there terrorizing the place. Now, on top of that, you probably have some people that did not qualify to be a police officer, and hey, and they didn't finish school or whatever the case may be, and somebody offer you $50,000, you're gonna take it, especially if that's gonna help you feed your family. Now, we have seen some Hispanic people that happen to be working for ICE. And I wonder how does that I know they're not invited to the family reunion at all or invited to any of their family homes because how you gonna sit up there, Jose, and be a part of ICE and you gonna have to go get your family member. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. You know? And then on top of that, you got the governor of Minnesota doing the best that he possibly can, including the mayor, trying to calm the situation down, but it's not because you got some JRs that are sitting up there that are kind of like that flame even more so. So my thing is this: they already shot a white woman in the face, and they already did a white male, and unfortunately, people are not going to be sensitive to him. but they're going to be sensitive to a white female that is a mother. Y'all can say whatever you want to say, but I'm telling you, when they start taking out white females that are moms, Houston, we're gonna have some problems because of the simple face. The simple fact is, she's the face of America. Whether you like it or not, she is.
Yeah.
Everything runs around that white female, and
Yeah.
especially she's a mom.
Yeah.
Because what happened to her, wrong.
Yeah, you talked about Miss Good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know they try to make an excuse of saying, "Oh, well, she was about to run someone over," which, of course, is completely blatantly not true. But I will say this, not to pivot or anything like that, but internet was brought up a phrase that I meant to also tap on: the concept of abolishing ICE. The question of whether or not we should abolish ICE actually came up in the senatorial debate between James Tellerico and Jasmine Crockett, and
mhm.
they answered very, I wouldn't say vaguely. They answered, I think, a lot of questions vaguely, but in a necessary way. For example, I would be very nervous if either one of the Democratic candidates said, yes, abolish ICE, because I know that Fox News would love that. If any
Yeah.
Democratic candidate running for office would say, yes, let's abolish ICE, Fox News will take you, they will take a clip of that and play that on repeat 24/7, right? It's kind of similar to how I've been getting this feeling in my gut ever since Beto O'Rourke was running for office. He said, quote, we're going to take your guns away, end quote, after prefixed by a hell yeah. So, and we saw how right wing media went nuts over that. And so, the moment they asked James Tellerico in Jasmine Crockett whether or not ICE should be abolished, I was sitting here thinking, like, got to be careful with that. And they were careful.
I'm
But
glad.
I'm glad too. It's also one of those things too, like as a Democratic audience member, at the same time too, like I I want them to acknowledge they have the same level of rage as I have. Like part of me wants them to say it, so because like that's what my heart wants, but at the same time too, I know it's not logical for them to go that to say what I truly want them to say in my heart. Because if they do say what I actually want them to say in my heart, Fox News will take that and run with it. So that was just one thing I kind of noticed about that debate there.
Well, you know what? We should get them on our show. We should have them to come on here and they can be relaxed and stuff. Because Fox News does not watch me as of right now. Now they might be pick me up later on because they don't know yet. We kind of underground still, but I would love to have those two on there so they can feel relaxed and in a safe environment where they can actually talk to the people the way how they want to, and yeah, but I'm gonna tell you, I know every Democrat was sitting up here like, Lord, y'all, please don't say anything that will give them something to use against you later. And I know Jasmine was biting her tongue a lot of times, to make sure she didn't say the wrong thing. And James Tellerico, he's very polished as a speaker, I think. But the question that's going to come up, is he strong enough to deal with the DC way of doing things? Because I'm gonna tell you, those folks down there in DC, they do some underhanded things, and then they go in public and they do all the shaking hands and yeah, I hate your guts and stuff, but behind closed doors they're out there having lunch together and all that stuff. So we got to be kind of like careful. I really I've said this a million times and I'll say it again. I really wish that he would have ran for governor instead of Senate, because he has the calmness about him that would have been able to bring Texas people together instead of us being divided. Because we don't want the Democratic Party to be divided like the Republican Party is right now. They're fractured. They got a fracture on that side and it's steadily growing. And I think people are starting to realize that, wait a minute, the stuff let me just say it like it is. The shit that they done did is causing problems in their pocket. It's causing problems with their kids. It's causing problems with their parents. It's causing problems with any and everything that is involving them. It's causing problems. So when you go to the grocery store, that's a problem. When you go to the gas station, that's a problem. Lord, you go to the doctor, oh hell yeah, that's a problem. Because number one, you gotta figure out, am I gonna pay my car note? Because it's gonna cost you about that much just to go see your doctor because you gotta pay that premium up front. What do you do? So people are hurting, and we gotta have some affordable stuff going on right now. Affordable living. We got to fix this health insurance because that's a problem. And I hope that whoever wins the Senate race and whoever goes to Congress, that they fix it because it's a problem and it's gonna get bigger.
Yeah, Antoinette, I want to give you a chance to jump in here. I'm not sure if you saw the Senate debate or not between James
I
Tellerico and Jasmine Crockett.
I didn't. I'll be completely honest with you all. I really don't tap into politics like that. Like I've
Uh,
never really. The only reason I know the things I know now is because I'm a candidate. And I hate to sound so politically irresponsible, but I'm just not a political person, if that makes sense. I'll tell you, I am a Democrat. I'm a lifelong Democrat, always have been. My mom's a Democrat as well, so I come from that family of Democrats. We're more of, I don't want to say conservative Democrats, but we kind of are in a sense. So we walk a fine line. But I like to just right from wrong, right? That's kind of how I move through life. And for me in my race, politics doesn't really factor into what I'm going to be doing. So I don't pay much attention to it. I did intend to watch the race, but based on credentials, based on what I have seen from both of those candidates, Jasmine and James, I've already made up my mind on who I believe to be the best candidate. I'm not gonna tell y'all, it's a secret. But I've already made up my mind about who I think is the best candidate in that race. So I don't think a debate will really change that for me. Now, what I would like to do is publicly welcome and invite my opponent to a debate. If she would like to debate me at some point, I would welcome that because at this point, things have gone far beyond what is acceptable for me. And I know a lot of other people, and I'm hopeful we can get into that here soon. But I really don't have much. I didn't watch it, so I really don't have much input on that
no,
part.
I was actually going to say I wouldn't use the word conservative Democrat at all. I would say you're more of a neutral in a way between right and wrong, and that's something judges really should have. Judges are
Yeah.
not supposed to be political. One of the things I was very surprised about when I first moved to Texas was to think, oh, judges are elected by party. What? Those
Yes,
should, be, in my
right.
mind, much like city council members and mayors, where it's nonpartisan. I would think, but
I agree
different
with
people have
you.
opinions on that.
I agree, and I really do think that's something that we need to visit at the legislature, making these races much like city council races, where we're not looking at party. Because I have a lot of people that are a part of the Republican Party, not necessarily MAGA. I have a hard time even communicating with MAGA because it's like we're not in the same realm here, so I can't really reason and rationalize with you. But the Republican Party, I do have supporters in that party, and I know they're going to struggle on election day whenever they do go vote with, do I sacrifice my down ballot Republican? Do I want to vote for John Corwin that bad, or do I want to vote for little old me? um it creates a conflict that I don't think is necessary, because what's going to be required once I'm sworn in is that I take an oath to remain impartial. And I'm not going to get to ask people in my courtroom, hey, are you a Republican or are you Democrat? And then move that like in accordance with whatever they tell me. I don't get to do that. And I wouldn't even want to do that if that was an option. So I agree with you, and I think that's something that needs to be visited at the legislature in Austin, like I said. So
Okay. Well, I love both of y'all comments on everything. We're gonna move on to the next thing. Y'all ready?
Let's hear it.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about the CD26, and we're not gonna go too far off into it because neither one of the candidates are on here, but we will have them on later on, probably next month. So CD26, you have Ernest Linebereger and Stephen Shooks are both
Yes.
running for. They're running against. They're gonna be
Private.
primary in each, and they're gonna be running against Brandon Gill. All I can say is on this here, I like both of them, and it's just like the Senate race. This is going to be hard, but I will support whoever the candidate is that wins because we got to get Brandon Gills out because he's a puppet for them, and we need somebody that's actually going to represent CD26, which is what is it? A lot of Dick County, Wise County. I think who else he has, Dale. Since they changed the
It's
map, it's kind
yeah,
of big.
it's all of Cook County, and again, we'll keep this topic short because I think a lot of people from Dallas County are watching right now, and I don't think it's too much of Dallas County. If it is Dallas County, it's northern Dallas County. But yeah, I will say it's one of the districts they changed the map for when they did the gerrymandering and redistricting. It's no longer contains any part of Frisco. But I will say it was a good candidate introduction. It felt very similar to the uh, debate between James Taylor Rico and Jasmine Crockett. Um, they were very careful with their responses and sometimes felt a little general, but I think it was really good. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, y'all. So we're gonna move on to this next subject, and we're gonna give Miss Attorney Antoinette Harris the floor. So if y'all are on here, please like, subscribe, and share. And
Yes.
come on, y'all, be nice. Be nice.
Oh
I'm
man.
y'all. They was out of my regular Dr. Pepper, and so I had to drink Pepsi.
Oh, God bless you. Bless your
Yes,
heart.
Lord. I
Bless
feel
your
like Shirley. I need to go put some milk in because this is going to be some interesting stuff. It's a lot of sugar up on this one. So,
heart. Oh man. Yes, the tea.
everyone, we're going to introduce Antoinette Harris, who is running for Justice of Peace, place 2 in Dallas. And we're going to give Antoinette the floor.
Oh, thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you. I really do appreciate your platform. And I want to start off by letting everyone know that this is something I never intended to do. As far as this podcast, speaking out about what I've been dealing with is something that I've just been enduring. And people have been telling me, hey, you need to say something, you need to address this, say that. And I've I've waited and I've waited and I was waiting until really the race was over until I spoke about what I've been dealing with. But I think I would be doing the people of Dallas County, specifically Precinct 2, a gross disservice by not speaking about what I've gone through and what I've been subjected to and made to endure by the people currently in power, specifically my opponent. Um, it, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And I'll tell you, I always seek wise counsel before I make a major move. Always. And I was told, I was forewarned that Dallas County politics is toxic. I didn't fully understand what they meant by that until I entered into this arena. Since I entered into this arena, I've been subjected to ongoing harassment efforts, and they're coordinated. This is not one person doing something. It's a collection of people, and most of them are in a position of power or feel as though they are. Um, I I want to get to a place where I'm not having to worry about strangers showing up to my home and what their intentions are. I want to get to a point where I'm able to run this race without having to worry about how I'm going to throw a campaign event that won't be disrupted. Um, I, I want to get to a place where I have peace and I feel safe. And right now, I don't have that. Um, I also want to get to a place where I don't have to worry about somebody coming for my livelihood. Now, I understand that me running this race is challenging somebody for their job. I get that. And I fully understand it. But it's one thing to challenge somebody for a job position, but it's another thing to try to take somebody's livelihood away from them. That's what I've been subjected to. It started with the social media slander campaign. Um, there have been people involved in that. And I'll let y'all do your research on that, especially after I get finished presenting what I have to present to you all here today. Because I don't speak if I don't have receipts to back up what I'm saying. So in September of 2025, my opponent filed a grievance against me with the Texas State Bar. Now, these matters tend to stay confidential. People don't really speak about them, or attorneys, should I say, don't really speak about them. The Ethics Commission doesn't have the authority to release these records without my permission. So I'm going to release them myself because before people go vote, February 17th through the 27th, which I highly recommend you do, because the Republican Party has made a decision that we will not be able to vote at any location in Dallas County, any polling location. You will have to vote at your assigned precinct location come March 3rd. So I really encourage people to early vote so you can go wherever your favored location is and vote. And it's going to be a lot of chaos on election day as well because of the decision to have everybody vote at their precinct. But I want you all to do your research and I want you to go in knowing who and what you're supporting. Okay. I know a lot of people are supportive of my opponent. I don't blame them. She seems like a really nice person on the surface. I'll tell you, when I first interacted with her, I thought she was a decent human being. My first interaction with her was me filing a case in her court. This case, since that point in 2023, pages of it, including my medical information, have been posted on this very platform on Facebook. And I believe it to have been done in retaliation for me challenging this particular individual. Because, see, narcissists, when you challenge them, they will try their damnedest to ruin you. And that's exactly what has happened since I started my campaign. Dale, if you could pull up the first document. As you can see, on September 24th, 2025, my opponent filed a grievance against me. This is my opponent. This is the address of the court that she occupies. This is her sister, who is also running for JP21. Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is her sister who's running for 2-1 against Margaret O'Brien. None of these people are attorneys, and that's a whole nother issue I'll get into later on because that needs to change as well. So we get down. This is my information, my law firm information. And then we get to the part where you have to establish standing, right? Because if anybody could just file a grievance against an attorney for anything, then we'd all of us attorneys, we'd be fighting grievances all day. So you have to have standing, right? Because we don't want people who, get cut off in traffic to just be able to file a grievance against an attorney. So as you can see, none of these options are checked because she didn't hire me. I wasn't appointed to her case as a indigent defense attorney. She doesn't know that I was hired to represent anyone else that's had an issue. So what she did was she chose to check, I am the judge, prosecuting attorney, defense attorney, court staff member, or juror in the legal matter. And that's the key word here. The legal matter that is the subject of the grievance. And I also want to highlight the someone else here at the top. Okay. Now the case that I filed in this court in JP22, I represented myself. I was a pro se plaintiff. So we started this grievance off with a lie. All right. Now, is she a judge? Yes. And I think that's something she's proud of, and she has every right to be. If I was the first Black person to ever preside over a court here in Mesquite that has been historically dealing with racial issues, I would be proud of that. And I want to give her her flowers right here tonight. Congratulations. And thank you for paving the way. We started off with a lie. We're getting there. We're getting there, dear. Just give me a moment. So I'll scroll past all of this. Now, this is the allegations that she made against me. She said that I publicly and professionally claimed to be a former administrative law judge for the state of Florida. This claim is false. An open records request from the Florida Department of Administrative Hearings confirms no record exists of Harris ever serving in this capacity. And she attaches an exhibit, false accusations against the sitting judge. She said that on September 17th, Attorney Harris published a social media post falsely accusing the incumbent of conspiring with the convicted person to harass, stalk, and intimidate her and her supporters. Harris knew this allegation was false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. The clear intent of the post was to incite unrest and potential violence against a member of the judiciary. Proof of this social media post is attached. Pattern of misrepresentation and obstruction. Attorney Harris's actions constitute a pattern of dishonesty, fraud, and conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice. Her reckless statements undermine the judiciary, mislead the public, and damage the profession. She accused me of all of these rule violations, and this one in particular is an accusation of bartering, meaning that I'm soliciting clients in a manner that's improper. Now, I understand that certain people have insecurities. It is never my intention to poke at those insecurities. But as a candidate in this race, my goal is to highlight my accomplishments, my credentials, and my qualifications for this race. That is my sole objective, is to communicate that to the public in the best way that I possibly can. Now, this open records request, I believe this to have been done by somebody who doesn't have the cognitive capacity to properly file an open records request, much less file it with the proper agency. Now, and I said this in my response, just because you don't know how to find something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The social media post that she's referring to, let's get to that. And this is the information request that came back for the person that filed it with the Division of Administrative Hearings. But see, in Florida, administrative law, reemployment assistance is administrative law. I held hearings and I made legally binding rulings on people's reemployment assistance claims, excuse me. That qualifies me as an administrative law judge. But when you're dealing with somebody who just wants to come for you, that's what they're going to do. Now, this is a direct message thread between myself and an individual who's gone out of their way to harass me on social media. I've done everything in my means to be reasonable with her, and she still keeps going. This particular individual who I was going back and forth with in these DMs, this individual has, I believe, given out my personal address. And I believe this because on one of the live streams, the many hour-long live streams that she's done about me, she's made it very clear that my address is an obsession of hers. She keeps mentioning it over and over again. And in this latest live, she even admits that she has sent people to my house before and there was no furniture here. As you can see, my home is fully furnished. So that where they're getting that from, I don't know. But what I want to stop is for people who I don't know coming to my home. I've come home on 3 separate occasions, and there were strange men outside of my house in different vehicles. I've called the police each and every time. And you know what happens? Nothing. They tell me, well, your address is public record. It's one thing for my address to be a public record. It's another thing for somebody to hop on this platform and play with my life like that. Because I don't know these people. I don't know what they're capable of or what their intentions are. But I do know my opponent is desperate at this point. Incredibly desperate to maintain the power that she has. And it's so sad to see. Now, this is the comment that she's speaking about. I said, this is a part of a post on my Facebook about my birthday party. It got to the point where I had to hire security to come to my birthday party because this same woman who's been going live about me, and I mean hour-long rants about me. Okay, this woman woke up the Thursday before Thanksgiving at 6 a.m. and went live for an hour about me, ranting. So when I hear from reputable members of this community that this woman who's running her mouth on Facebook about me is not a safe individual, has mental health issues, is a convicted felon, when I call and make a police report and the police officers tell me, oh yeah, she's been involved with some criminal activity involving guns. When I'm hearing all of this information and I know I'm a single woman living alone, I'm going to do everything I need to do to protect myself and make sure I'm safe. So I made my post and I made it very clear. You're not welcome here. Because the last time she showed up at my event, I made the address public and she showed up and she disrupted the entire second half of my event. This was something that was witnessed by multiple people and I have affidavits from them. Okay, that I've already presented to the state bar. So when I made this comment, I meant everything I said. She asked me what I meant by stalker. This is my friend from middle school. I said, yes, ma'am. She's a convicted felon who's publicly spoken about her mental health issues. I've blocked her everywhere, but she keeps appearing at my events. She's connected to the incumbent, and it seems that they're trying to intimidate me and my supporters by stalking and slandering us. I've taken steps to protect myself, taser obtained, firearm purchase plan, and I'm documenting everything. And when I said that, I meant that because these are the type of people who don't have much to lose. All right. She's the type of person who you don't know what their boundaries are, and I'm not trying to find them. I'd rather protect myself and exercise my Second Amendment right versus letting somebody take me out because they're upset about who I am or what I represent to them. I don't have time for that. I've worked too hard to get where I'm at for that. My mother has sacrificed too much for that. So what I said is exactly what I meant. When I said she's connected to the incumbent and it seems like they're trying to intimidate me and my supporters by stalking and slandering us, that's what I meant. Because if you go to this individual's page right now, you will see the live streams about me. You will see how the incumbent is always in the comments. If you're going to do dirty work, you got to make sure to keep your hands clean. Your hands shouldn't be anywhere on it. But it's all up and through the comments. She's encouraging her to continue to do this. When she showed up at my event and went live, if you go back and watch that live, the incumbent is all up and through it. All through it. So when I said that, it was what was happening. And for her to present this to the state bar as though I'm inciting unrest against her is illogical. And the state bar so far has agreed with me. They found no just cause for a finding that I committed any form of professional misconduct, because I absolutely did not. Her goal is to enforce her power and authority against me. That case that I told y'all about, the parts of it that are posted on social media right now, the majority of it is markings from this incumbent, from her going through the rules, not just for Texas, but Louisiana as well. And it's a part of my record. Her trying to find a way to get me disbarred, not just in Texas, but in Louisiana as well. I haven't heard a peep out of Louisiana because I don't think they have any interest in this. I know for a fact the state of Texas doesn't, because if they did, we would be heading into a disciplinary hearing. There's no hearing set because there's nothing to have a hearing about. We're going to have what's called a summary disposition panel. Dale, can you bring me back up? We're going to have what's called a summary disposition panel on February 17th, 2026. This is what happens when you file a frivolous grievance. I know because I've fought a frivolous grievance before. People like to try to humble me, and none of them have succeeded. And it's because I'm not doing anything wrong other than existing in a realm and a space where they don't want me. But this is abuse of authority. It's abuse of power. And unfortunately, this is the standard here in Dallas County. Because it's not just her that's doing this. There are other elected officials, like Cardall Coleman, for example. Cardall texts me this because my opponent is so insecure that she drives around. I won't accuse her of stealing the yard signs I had to replace yesterday, but I will tell you I had to replace some. This is mental illness on full display. For you to go out of your way to put this yard sign you're seeing right here, to put this yard sign in front of my birthday venue, knowing that was going to be my birthday venue, in violation of a Mesquite City ordinance. Let me pull it up. Can I find it? Here it is. In violation of a Mesquite City ordinance. Because see, when I got back from Puerto Rico, I went and put my signs up too. You see them. They right here. The ones she scratched out and virtually defaced. I put those up when I got back from A-Day, my A-Day celebration for my birthday. And as soon as I put them up, I got this email telling me to pick up and remove all political signs from your election that have been placed out around the city of Mesquite. Political signs may not be placed out earlier than 60 days before. Now me, as you can see, I keep a receipt. I don't like to play with people. I take life very seriously. And with that being said, I told them email me in my campaign email, not in my business email. And I asked them, I said, I'd appreciate some clarification. I've noticed that signs for my election have been, noticed that signs for my opponent is what I meant, have been displayed around the city well before today. Does this ordinance apply to candidates in this race or only to my campaign? And I got a response that said, thank you for getting back to me. The sign information applies to any person in any race, and we have sent out information to other people running for elections in Mesquite and Dallas County. Okay, I said, all right, okay. And we got out of this and got into another email thread, which I really want to pull up for y'all. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick, because I want y'all to see the depths of manipulation that this individual is capable of. When things aren't going her way or she feels challenged, this is what happens. And it's not okay. So if you're going to vote, you need to know who and what you're voting for. Once again, I can't get the email up, but if I can, I will. In the meantime, this same individual, Cardall Coleman, he's the chair of the Democratic Party. So for him to send me this, and then when I sent him this challenge, okay, because see, I believe in following the law. I really do believe in that. When I sent him this challenge laying out how my opponent has violated the law in many different manners, all throughout the application, all throughout the petitions in lieu of. And I find it crazy because Cardall was so quick to kick T Maxine off this ballot because she didn't put the place that she was running for on her petitions. But he allowed this individual to not just violate the law in one way, but in multiple ways. Because there's no way you're going to tell me that you cannot put your residential address and get on the ballot, not state your legal name and get on the ballot. And I'll provide all of this information to whoever wants it. Email me and I'll send it to you. The defects in the complaint, she didn't complete the top of it. The verifications were of the affidavits were defective, and I'll tell you why. You can't notarize your own petition. You can't do this. This is a violation of the law. If I could pull it up. Oh Lord, it flipped around on me. How did I get it back? Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can't do this. You can't notarize your own petitions. Anybody with common sense know that. You don't even have to be an attorney. This is just common sense that, hey, this is my document. I have an interest in it. I can't notarize this. But you think Cardall Coleman cares? He doesn't, because he's part of a very corrupt system here in Dallas County where you do what the incumbent tells you to do. I've struggled in this race with, do I really want to be a part of this? Is this the community I want to join? When I say, hey, I'm an attorney, I respect the law, and then I look at the people in positions of power and how they move and how they abuse their authority, I don't know. I do want to serve the people of this precinct, and I have a beautiful vision of what we can do here, specifically for our youth. Okay? It's not just about applying the law in court. I want to serve beyond the bench. I want to get in this community and help these young people because I've represented the 17-year-olds that come out of Mesquite. Every single 17-year-old I've represented has come from this city. That told me there's an issue here. This race is not about me wanting to get my lick back because this lady transferred my case. Yeah, okay, cool. But one thing about me, I can take a lick. I can take a lick and keep it moving. I've learned how to do that in life. You have to. When you keep getting knocked down, you got to figure out how to get up and move on. And I was doing that. But then I had other people starting to come to me and tell me about how this particular individual moved, how she was nasty towards them, rude, disrespectful, ugly, malicious, vindictive, and spiteful. One person in particular was Constable Deanna Hammond. Now, I went to the Constable Hammond when I first moved out here because I had spoken to some of the clerks at Margaret O'Brien's court, and I had spoken to other elected officials who told me there was an issue with this particular individual. And they were like, oh, yeah, if you're thinking about running, you should run. You should run because we can't stand her out here. And so for a constable to tell me that they can't stand the person that they have to work directly with, on top of what I'm hearing from former employees who have left because of the toxic environment in the court, I'm like, okay, all right. I'm still at this point taking it into consideration. But for this same individual to have this article written up, and I'm trying to pull it up. Give me 1 second. Where is it? For this same individual to have an article written up, and I want to be very clear, this article was initiated by Constable Hammond. It's in the Dallas Morning News, and here it is. Dallas County's latest use of his fire marshal's courtroom bailiff. And I think you'll like this, Stephanie, because one of our favorite elected officials is a part of this here. It was written by Tracy McManus, and I'll send this to anybody who would like to read it. But it basically reads about how these two women are at such conflict. And it seems as though a particular individual by the name of John Wiley Price is involved in this some way, shape, form, or fashion. Because I mean that well, there he goes there. Um, for her to launch all of this and then sign the lady's petition to get her on the ballot, that's the type of toxicity that's involved here in Dallas County. Because it's like, well, if I don't support her, I'm going to be punished for it. I'm scared of John Wiley Price. I'm scared he's going to come for me. That's what this reads like. Because she says here, I won't be intimidated. Okay. And so this is Constable Hammond saying these things. So for her to then turn around and sign the lady's petition to get her on the ballot, vote to endorse her in Stonewall, and not just, I don't even think it's just Stonewall. I think she's just voting for her and supporting her anyway. I've spent hours on the phone with this woman, listening to her complain about this same judge. So this is the manipulation that these people like to engage in here in Dallas County. Now, me personally, I don't professionally too. I don't like to do all of this. If I tell you I don't like somebody, I don't like them. I just don't. It may change over time, and that's okay. But to do all of this, to have somebody accuse you of dereliction of your duties and misuse funds just to spite you, because that's what she did. She called John Wiley Price or emailed him something, and this man sent the fire marshal to bailiff her court, a duty that's statutorily assigned to the constable's office. She had John Wiley Price send the fire marshals in, misused taxpayer dollars to do so because she didn't feel safe, I guess. I don't know. But I do know this is crazy to have a fire marshal over here and a constable over here. It just doesn't make any sense in a JWP court. We don't need all of this. And if we had the right people in the right positions of power and authority who didn't abuse it, we wouldn't be here. But this is what Dallas County politics is. You have to go along to get along, and you have to play the game. I don't play the game, especially if I plan on sitting on that bench. I'm not playing any games because I'm going to be making a decision about somebody's life, their legal rights, whether they have a home to live in, whether they don't. And I know people think, oh, well, she just wants to reduce the eviction rate. That's not what I want to do. I want to use my skill set to properly apply the law. I think it is no coincidence that Precinct 2 has the highest eviction rate according to the Dallas Eviction Advocacy Center. And you'll be surprised because Mark Melton is going to support my opponent in this race. I know he is because he told Stonewall he was. So I think it's very interesting to produce those kinds of numbers and then to comment under it and say, oh, I think it's the judges, and then openly support somebody who you believe is at fault for this outrageous eviction rate that doesn't make any sense. Precinct 2 is in the northeast corner of Dallas County. The southern sector is home to some of the poorest income households. So how that is, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But I could tell you it's a part of the toxic culture here in Dallas County. These elected officials are willing to do any and everything they can to maintain their positions of power. That's why they discourage us as new candidates from running. That's why they send out all kinds of negative media about us. I haven't spoken negative about my opponent not once. What I will do is tell y'all what she's done to me. And what she's done to me is not okay. And if she'll do it to me, she'll do it to you. So I can
Well,
keep going, but I don't know if y'all have any questions for me. I know I just laid a lot out.
listen. Woo, girl, I'm gonna have to drink on this one. But there's a comment that's in here. Eugene wrote on there: the only control you have is with yourself, your staff, and your volunteers. Raise money on the negative issues. They see you as a threat, and that's your strong point. Focus on winning strategy.
Thank you, Eugene.
So,
I really appreciate, and I do it. Hello, if y'all are watching this, I do need donations. Okay, my link tree has my donor box because Steph, you know, like I know, Dale, you know, like I know, this is not cheap. And so for me to go out yesterday and see my yard sign stolen, it's that's a lot. It's not cheap. Those signs are like three bucks each for me. I don't know. I got a better source. Let me know. But thank you, Eugene. I really appreciate the encouragement because it's been hard. I've been dealing with all of this stuff in the background, and on top of that, running a law firm solo. And I'm a real solo practitioner. My mom answers my phones, so if you call me, that's her. That's Patricia answering that phone. She's helping me with that. My line sister, bio sister, she helps me when she can. And then I have a part-time paralegal as well. But I don't have like a full staff. This is a real solo practice. My campaign, I'm running it by myself. God is my campaign manager at this point. And I'm just trusting that he's going to keep me and carry me through all of this drama because I really don't like drama. I like my clients' drama. I like them to come to me and tell me all about their tea and we sip and we find a solution because I'm a solutions oriented person. I don't like to dwell in issues for too long. I know I did for a while, and there's only one more thing that I really need to clear up here because somebody asked me about it in a comment. They asked me if I have proof that my opponent was willing to involve elected officials. Now, I'll be clear. I never said that the elected officials were actually involved in this. Now, whether they were or not, I don't know. But I do know there was a lot of back and forth with my grievance. A lot. She filed it on September 24th. Dale, can I get the screen? I want to be very clear about this. So she filed it. I filed my response. It's quite a bit of a response. This is me explaining the misrepresentation of filing. And I also want to highlight here that this woman has had an issue with me for a while because she transferred my case, but she transferred it back into her own court. So I'm not sure how that even happens. I went and looked at my case on Facebook and saw that she transferred it to not a court, but to Dallas County, which makes no sense when she could have just transferred it to another court and made all these false allegations about why she did it. But to each their own. Now, I've been told that, I need to make sure that I have documentation that she involved these other elected officials. Well, here it is. She says here, am I reading this correctly? Mayor of Balch Springs, Rodney Taylor, House Representative District 113, Honorable Retta Bowers, and Dallas County Constable Deanna Hammond. Now, what she was doing was trying to defend the individual that has been going live about me repeatedly and consistently. That's the only reason why I say it's an obsession because this is the first and the last time you'll ever hear me speak about any of these people. I promise you that. So when I say I come with receipts, I mean that because this is signed by the judge, not me. So was she willing to involve other elected officials? Absolutely. She even included pictures of them to prove her point. That's how low she'll go. And I don't even know if these people know that she did this, but she did it. That's why you have to. Girl, I don't know. This party is on something different. And she talking about Charlie Kirk. What does Charlie Kirk have to do with anything, baby? Let that man rest in peace. He's gone. Let him rest. I don't know who is all these people. But this is the woman who's been going live about me. I can tell you that. It's not somebody I want to try to get into. This is not somebody I'm going to try to get into a physical altercation with, okay? I just can't do that. All right. Because, see, for me, I like to resolve things without physical violence. At least now I do. When I was young, I was real scrappy. But this person goes live and gets to talking about, oh, you talk all that behind the keyboard and all this other stuff because we could really get ghetto. And I'm not getting in the street and fighting with her. I'm just not. I will lay her down before I do that because she's prone to win that fight. This woman has fought in prison. I love school fights, but I haven't fought in prison. I'm not ready for that. I can't. I'm not physically equipped for it. So that's why I said what I said in my comment. But yeah, I don't know who all she did these took these pictures of, but for Mayor Rodney Taylor, the Honorable Retta Bowers, and Constable Deanna Hammond, your friend here, your associate, she's very much so willing to involve you in things that you have no business in, whether you know it or not. So I think that answers the gentleman's question on Facebook on whether or not I have proof that she involved them. There's your proof right there. Oh, and it kept going. I responded because when you're fighting for your livelihood, you respond. Okay. And I did respond and I let it be known that this is we can just go over the subheadings. This is a matter of the complaints pattern of manufactured victimhood. It's not fear, it's her strategy. This is political theater. I meant that. This is coordinated harassment and retaliatory conduct. Uh, this is well, I'm gonna let her talk about her own criminal history. I'm gonna leave that alone. But this is her abuse of authority, misuse of judicial office, and political retaliation. You know what? Now I'm going back to the criminal history because it seems like in Dallas County you have to be arrested to be taken seriously. I mean, you just have to get arrested in order for anybody to take you seriously. So this individual got arrested, and I did. I had my doubts. I was like, "What is that her?" And I'll show you what I mean by that. Is this her? Is that really her? Because people just started sending me the lady mugshot, and I'm like, "Oh wow, this is a lot." I didn't anticipate all of this. But yeah, they started sending me the lady mugshot. This her. This is her. The individual that continues to go live about me, and then that's her sister that's running for JP21. But yeah, somebody kept sending me this here. And I said, wait, is that really her? And then I put them side by side. I said, wait a minute, that is her. So somebody, Cindy Hodges actually, she posted this on Facebook because it's a matter of public record. And I think her intent was to let the public know who's in their office because these offices are for the people, right? So you have the right to know who's in your offices. She posted this and people had an issue with it or whatnot, or should I say, my opponent had an issue with it. But she admitted that it's her. Now, you would think she would utilize plausible deniability because she spells her name differently. But she admitted, she's like, yeah, this is me. I wrote a hot check for some baby formula and I didn't know I had to pay for it and all these other things. I was a single mom of two. Well, Patricia Harris was a single mom. She was a single mom of one, and I'm enough to be two. So, Patricia Harris, she ain't never got arrested for stealing nothing in no means or manner. Patricia Harris has never been even so much as in a welfare line, okay, to apply for any kind of benefits. Patricia Harris got up every single day, and made sure she did what she had to do to get me where I'm at in life. She sacrificed her whole life for me. And for somebody like this to try to discredit all that she sacrificed and try to destroy that is not okay. So yes, I brought that up in the grievance response or the response to her rebuttal because baby, it went back and forth. Okay, so the abuse of authority and misuse of judicial office and Lord have mercy, political retaliation, all of that. The evidence, because she likes to talk about receipts. She likes to talk, oh, the receipts are just clicks away. Okay, where are they? Because I have mine here. I present evidence for a living. I do this for fun. All right. So where is the evidence? I didn't see any. I didn't see any of it at all. But she says in one of her responses that I didn't present any evidence. And that's the type of judge you got presiding over too. All right. Judicial canon violations. I'm going to hold off on that because I'm going to let the commission deal with that. But then she responds.
Yeah.
She responds. And it's like, what are we even talking about? What are we even talking about? This is my supplemental because her friend went live about my address again. She said, oh, and I got that address if you need it. because we gonna tell some truth anyway. And then immediately after this, people started showing up at my house. Three separate occasions. Imagine if that was your child, Stephanie, and somebody did that to you. Your child. And she keeps going back and forth. And it's like, girl, let it go. You're obviously not getting anywhere. So I told the commission myself. I said, good afternoon. As previously stated, I'm not interested in going back and forth with the complainant. I would like to waive the 10-day waiting period because you have 10 days to respond. To file a response to rebuttal number 2 and proceed with the next phase of this process. And you know what they sent me? They sent me this. They said, you're hereby notified that the reference complainant has been placed on a summary disposition panel docket. My attorneys, they know this is not how the state bar handles legitimate complaints. They don't do that. I've spoken with the person who wrote this. He's advised me that I'm free to speak. And the moment he told me that, I started trying to figure out how can I let these people know what this woman has tried to subject me to throughout these past few months for no reason other than I had the audacity to run against her. This is what you risk in Dallas County when you run. Now, I don't know if this is normal for people. This is not normal for me. So I'm going to behave as though it's not normal. Now, unfortunately for me, she's put me in a position where this won't be heard and dismissed until February 17th, which is the first day of early voting. I'm not going to let the general public go into those booths and fill out their ballots without knowing what they're supporting. If they're going to support her, you need to know what you're supporting.
Wow. Well, girlfriend, you just said a whole mouthful. I done drank up all my Pepsi. I'm sitting up here like, I've been here, God, in Texas for 22 years. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm a Louisiana native. I expect stuff like this mudslinging to happen out there. I hadn't really seen a lot of mudslinging here in Texas. They do their thing here. Yes, we do. But it's not to that level. And I feel like you've been doxxed. They doxed you.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna say this here as a mother, and and I look at you as my sister. You make sure that you have security. You
I
make
got
sure that you have
you.
cameras up. You make sure that you have a location on you, because I don't know exactly who this person is. And I'm gonna have to say, this is all alleged. She has her documentations on everything, but I I definitely want you to make sure that you're safe, and let somebody know what your location is that you feel comfortable with, just in case something happens. This environment, this political environment. Dell, you can come on, switch on over. This environment right now is very toxic, and
It's
I
scary. My
hope
anxiety
it's
has
very
been through the
scary.
roof.
Especially if this is in our own party. That's scary, and this is a thing that Representative Congresswoman Crockett was talking about, how she can't go anywhere and she has to have security with her wherever you go.
It's ridiculous. And that's why
This
I started getting security. I
I
started
appreciate
to bring
you
up
you
women to my
sharing.
events.
I,
Whole
I really appreciate you sharing this, and this is going to go in our library. So if anything wound up happening, it is definitely documented.
thing.
It's library. So you got a friend on this side that I believe in. Politics is always dirty, but
Yeah.
you don't have to go to the point of threatening somebody's life or their job. You don't have to go to that length. If you think that you can do the job, then go out there and campaign like you can.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the people going to vote for you or they not.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go to that point of slandering people. When I ran for state senate, I ran against Tan Parker, and he didn't mudsling me and I didn't mudsling him. Now, did Tan do a lot of stuff? voted some crazy stuff that I didn't agree with? Yes, he did. But he not one time came for me like that. And I didn't do the same thing towards him. There's no reason for you to do mudslinging like that and putting people in a bad position to where they got to fear for their life. I said, like I said again, make sure you have security. Make sure you have security. Make sure you have cameras up. I'm gonna say this here. Check your vehicle. If your car ain't starting on the first click, get the hell out that car.
Yeah,
Stuff
absolutely.
happens.
Just real quick, internet. If you're talking, we can't hear you. I don't know if you turned your Bluetooth headset on, maybe it was that or something else. But I definitely want to say that that's definitely a lot for that level, for sure,
Wait,
especially within our own party. Oh, now we can hear you. I'm sorry.
can you?
Yes, yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. Somebody said, hold on.
I was saying, yes, I do have cameras up. I have a dog and my dog barks. That's what started alerting me. And he would bark and I would go outside. And as soon as I went outside, the car that was sitting in front of my house before that I ain't never seen before this lady started going live and doing all this, that car would make an effort to get away. Like it would turn. I've come home from Thanksgiving. Two people hopped out of a truck with metal detectors like they were going to the beach to look for gold. And I'm like, what the hell are you looking for gold in this yard in Mesquite for? Like, what is this? What is this? It's to the point where my neighbors have noticed it. They've had people knock on their door, pretending to be from the city of Mesquite, and their opening line is, we just want to make sure you know how to stay safe. It's no coincidence that my yard sign is in their front yard. And all the other yard signs on this street have come down. See, this neighbor, she don't play them games. She'll shoot you for real. So she said, I don't need any help knowing how to be safe, but if you don't get the fuck out of my yard, you will. And they got on, the two of them. It was just one that presented themselves at the door, but when she said that, two of them took off running. It's that, to me, that strikes fear in me. I know that was the intent, and I hate to admit that publicly, but I am in fear for my safety, and I shouldn't
You're a
have.
human being. You're a human being, and you have the right to feel how you feel. Let me let you know. Sharonda, I cannot say.
Oh,
I
Miss
have really got
Carter,
some good
she wrote it down.
glasses. Said that she breaks the law in her court if she doesn't like the law. She did it towards my husband, willing to file a grievance against your opponent.
I will say
No,
this.
we're filing a grievance against your opponent.
I was
I
and
think you
she's
should.
not the only one. She's not the only one because I can't let her do this. That complaint that I filed with her petitions and I wasn't even going to engage in all of it. I just simply wanted the opportunity when I set this off to present the people with a what I believe to be a better option. I'm the only attorney in this race. I'm the only person with an undergraduate degree from a 4-year university. The only candidate. Now, when you look at that and the reality of it is this ain't that. And I think we all know that. I don't want to be egotistical in saying that I'm better than anybody, but I do think that what I have to offer is better than what we have now. So when Miss Odette reached out to me, I was about ready to quit my campaign. I've been ready to quit it through. I've actually quit it. It's in God's hands now at this point. I'm still gonna do the work. And he either gonna spin the block and meet me where I'm at or he not. I'm okay with it either way. Because I'm gonna touch six figures no matter what. I didn't touch six figures since I got my bar number, and I'm gonna do it every year after, if not more. So, because I know people saying, "Oh, she's doing this for the money." Okay, that's cute. But I have talked to Miss Odette. She reached out to me. I don't know how Mrs. Odette found me. Have no clue. But when I heard her story, it was like listening to myself and my own experience in that court, being completely dismissed, being disregarded, not being heard, because you can tell when somebody has already made up their mind. You can see when somebody can be persuaded and when they simply cannot. Especially when they get to asking you questions and not the other party, you can tell, oh, wait a minute. I'm the target here. I thought this was supposed to be a mutual thing, but it's not. And the police don't do nothing. No, seriously. They don't do anything. I've called Mesquite PD more times than I can count at this point. They say they're making a report. They've even given me the report number. I included it in my grievance response. If I'm not going through the whole laid out thing anymore. If y'all want to see it, I'll email it to you. But I've made a police report. And you know what happened? I tried to escalate it and get them to, because I was told on the initial interview when they called me, they said, well, we know about her. She's been involved in some crimes around here involving guns and stuff. But we'll tell you what, if you call us back, if she does this again, you call us back and we'll give her a call and tell her to stop. I knew then that what I was doing with trying to get them to hold her accountable wasn't going anywhere. Cindy Hodges, my good friend, and my friend who people have referred to as a racist, and she's so far from that because they didn't like her verbiage. That it's okay for everybody to refer to uh, Donald Trump as an orangutan, but when she calls somebody who I think does look like a gorilla, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I'm not being shady. I'm just saying the resemblance is there. She referred to her as that. And I can see how some people would think that's racist. But do I think that was her intent? Absolutely not. People want to find issues with her are none. When I realized that this woman is not stable, when I realized that the police aren't going to do anything for me, I knew I had to say something. Because if it comes down to it and I do win this race, what's going to happen to me? If this is what's happening at this level of desperation, I want to win, I want to win, I want to win. What happens when you lose? So I want this for the record. If something happens to me, y'all know who to look into now. Because I'm not leaving here without a fight. And I'm not leaving here without accountability. People need to be held accountable. The police here in Mesquite aren't going to do it because, like I was saying with Cindy, she found the lady's warrant. Cindy is like a internet sleuth. She'll find anything on anyone. I'm truly scared of the lady. But not in
Somebody's asking for her name.
the police. Oh, her name, I believe her legal name is Ukaya. Is the people around here who have told me about her. They say her name is Ukaya Gillum or Swain. I think Swain is the legal name. I truly don't know. I don't want to know. I just want to leave me alone for real.
Wow.
And stop sending people to my house. And stop telling people you're sending people to my house. That's so stupid. That's like, what if you're gonna do something like that? Don't tell people that's what you're doing. At least be smart enough to not do that. But
So
her
I have a question. Did you involve the sheriff? Can the sheriff do
that's I'm
anything?
trying not to escalate it, Stephanie. This is a black woman. I don't want a black woman locked up. That's not my goal. And I've told my friends and supporters know this. China, you know. I've told her because China is my confidant. I go to her and I cry to her. And she has held me up. I never want any ill will for another black woman, ever. But when it gets to the point where I don't feel safe anymore, I don't know what else to do. I don't want to take this to the sheriff. I don't. I really, really don't want to do that. I just want her to leave me alone and stop sending people to my house. I deserve to be safe in the place where I pay to stay. I don't bother that lady. I don't. I don't concern myself with her outside of her attempts to harm me in the ways that she has. I just wanted to stop, and I don't know how else to make it stop other than to do something like what I'm doing right now.
Antoinette, at this point, and Jess is on here saying the same thing. I'm thinking you should. You have your proof, and for you to be protected, and you got documentation. We have it. We're live, so everybody that's on here, seen your paperwork, they heard what you had to say, and I know it's hard, and we're gonna probably have to have a conversation offline. But when it comes to, because I know people who should have reported something and didn't say anything. If you know something, say something. If you go to the sheriff, if Mesquite police are not doing anything, then go to the sheriff department and let them know so they can at least look into it. And if and then go to the next level. Long as you have it in black, have a documentation. You're a lawyer, and you know that. Have your documentation, a paper trail, because if something happened, we know where to go look. We know who to go. This is who was doing all this stuff, and so we pretty much you lied, you are live.
That's why I'm
We
going.
got it. It's going in. It's going in.
I got the recordings, but the last time that I showed an officer the recording of what she's doing, I mean down to the transcription of it. I got a call back because I escalated it up the chain because I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why doesn't anybody want to do anything about this? Like, why is not anybody taking this seriously? And I also have in the back of my mind what Cindy found was the warrants that got deleted. This same individual had warrants out during the city council elections here. It was made a mockery of pretty much. She had an exchange with the Mesquite Police Association on Facebook where anybody reading it can infer that they went ahead on and deleted warrants for her because Cindy saw them one day and they weren't there the next. So I'm thinking about this all at the same time as I'm escalating up the ladder. I'm like, I'm climbing, but I know in the back of my mind I'm not getting anywhere because she's friends with these people. So they're not gonna hold her accountable. They're not gonna take this seriously. I got all the way up to I think a sergeant level. This man called me back and told me to stop wasting his fucking time. He wasted an hour or however long he wasted watching the video and to stop calling him about this. And I'm just like, okay, what do I do with that? And in my mind, I never want to do harm to anybody in any way, shape, or form. Now, do I? Yes, I'm a human being, but I never go out intending to hurt people. That's just not who I am. I don't want to escalate it, but it's getting to a point where I kind of have to. I can't keep coming home and it's strangers outside my home. Because what's to say they're not going to be in my home one day? I don't know. And I'm myself. I'm sorry. This is taking a lot. I'm sorry.
Y'all, this is what happens when you try to do your best and you're running for office because you want to stand up for the people. Sometimes people take things to a whole nother level and make it hard for folks that run. This is one of the reasons why a lot of candidates don't want to run for office is because of threats. There have been a lot of threats, and I'm gonna say this: there have been a lot of threats against a lot of Black women that they feel threatened by. If there is anyone, any of my officers that watch the show, or you are an attorney and you've been through something like this here, please DM me so we can get her some help because it seems like we're gonna have to get her some help here. Yeah, Coleman, you know me. Call me. Let's talk about this because she shouldn't have to be fearing for her life. You running for office to do the right thing. She's running to be a JP. She shouldn't have to fear for her life. None of us should have to fear for our life. We got to do the right thing. Antoinette, I definitely appreciate you coming on to Let's Talk About It, Steph, and your story. And if there's any other candidates that's out there that's going through this, I want to expose them. I'm gonna give you the platform where you can talk about it. And if you are that person that is saying don't feel like she's saying what's true, then reach out to me. I'll bring you on here, and I'll put both of y'all on here. But at the end of the day, we have enough going on outside our party and in this world generally to be dealing with. No candidate should have to fear for their life, especially candidates that are single and home alone and have to worry about something that somebody is standing out there in their yard. Her neighbors don't deserve that either. But as a candidate, we do put ourselves out there for people to complain and do all kind of things towards us. We do. There should be bills put in place that protect candidates. Now they protect people that's sitting in office as much as they possibly can, but I feel like the same laws that they have to protect sitting congressmen, senators, and House members, they need to do the same thing for candidates that's running. Because you're not the only one that something like this has happened. Someone else that's running in Tarrant County was going through, had been doxxed and all kind of slander stuff to the point where they were trying to push this person out of the race, and that's wrong. I'm gonna tell you, like my mama would tell me, stay on the right track, put God first, run, sister, run, and make sure you have your best friend on your hip because you are in Texas, baby, and
Yeah,
your ground.
she
Okay,
tells me that
you
all the
know who
time.
you are. You
My
know who you are, and
mom,
you don't let nobody take that away from you. You hold your head up, and like my grandmama say, keep that blade where you need to, where your other at. You know,
I got a little I got a
and
little
keep your best friend on your hip and do what you got to do. I don't condone taking anybody's life or injuring anything like that, but I'm going to tell you something. We live in Texas and we live in crazy times where people do crazy things. So if you come and do crazy stuff, you F around and find out.
yeah. I
So I don't
have,
condone violence at all, but I do believe in safety, and I do believe that we the people deserve to have a fair race, and people should be do the right thing. I'm
yeah,
trying to be very careful what I'm putting out there, but it's too much going on to be doing crazy stuff like that.
it
And
is.
it sounds like to me that you need to be reaching out to Candace Matthews. She loves the hammer. Get the hammer involved. She loves stuff like this. Get her involved, and I
You know what,
guarantee you,
Stephanie? Steph, my mom literally told me to do the exact same thing. Like my
you need
mom,
to call him.
that lady there, I don't know how it's become like I feel like she's my child now. Like raising a single parent is not easy though. Cause she pours into me from my childhood, if that makes sense. Like I reflect on things now that she was teaching me when I was younger. And I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, I understand why you were trying to instill that principle in me. And I just want to take a moment to thank her so much for everything she sacrificed for me to be here today. Seriously. She gave up her life, her dream, whatever dream she could have had. She sacrificed all of that for me because she loves me, and she's the first person that tell me to ever tell me I was going to be a judge. She would tell me that when I was younger. I'm like, girl, I just want to get to the point of being an attorney. And the fact that I'm actually at a point where I may actually be a judge, it's like she's been pouring into me for decades, and I didn't even realize it. But I'm so glad for growth. And so I can look back now and really appreciate all that she's done for me, from working multiple jobs to make sure we were good, to showing me, how to cook, how to be a real woman. I appreciate her for that. So thank you, Mama. I know you on here.
Oh, okay. There's somebody named Yukia Gillum.
There we go. The lady that's obsessed with me. Like I said, right on time. Ain't that
You
crazy?
Yeah, well, she just left a message. Somebody's looking for me.
No.
Yakina Gillum.
She's a sick person. She really needs help.
I'm gonna I'm gonna extend this to you. DM me, and we'll have you both on the show at the same time.
I'm not engaged.
You can speak your piece.
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm not engaging in that, Stephanie. I love you to death. If you would like to have me back on with my opponent, I'm up for a debate, but I'm not engaging with this individual. She doesn't deserve my time, energy, or effort.
We do.
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah. Okay. I'm up here reading this stuff. Let me tell you. Uh,
This is the harassment that I was
do
talking
you?
about.
I get you. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna switch this on over and go ahead and wrap this here on up. We have everything documented and everything, and I appreciate you coming on to the show.
Was this
And
recorded? Like, can I get a
yes,
recording of this as well? Because this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Now, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but this is inappropriate. It just is. Everybody has freedom of speech, but based on what I just told y'all I've dealt with this woman, for her to hop on this live stream like this, it's not rational. It makes no sense. Just leave me alone. Please leave me alone. You could get on live and come up with whatever delusions you would like. Do that. But please leave me alone. You're on this platform because you're desperate for attention. You want it so bad. And I'm not giving it to you. I was speaking about you and what you've done to me. That's it, and that's all. So please,
all right.
please.
Antoinette, we're gonna go ahead and go with your stump speech. Go ahead, and we're gonna give you the floor to do your stump speech for your campaign, and we're gonna get ready to wrap this bad boy on up.
Yes,
Go
ma'am.
ahead.
So much. Well, I appreciate you all for allowing me to speak this evening. My name is Attorney Antoinette Ian Harris. I'm the only attorney in this race, and I believe myself to be the only true qualified candidate. Yes, I am running against an incumbent, but incumbency is just a reflection of the best options at the time of the election. Do I believe my opponent to have been the best candidate at the time during the past two terms? Absolutely. Because she was. She had the most legal experience, and I'll give her that. But at this point in this race, I am the most qualified candidate. I don't mean any ill will in running my race. If anybody feels slighted by anything I've said or done, know that that was not my intention. I've tried my best to run a clean race. I have a vision for this precinct. I would like to prioritize not just bringing my competence to the bench, and that's no shade, no tea. I just know that I'm competent, but when you're insecure, that hurts feelings. But I'm not going to stop saying it. I want to bring my competence to this bench. I want to bring my ability to run a law firm and transfer that into this court. I know how to manage cases and I want to manage them more efficiently. Because if you pull the OCA report, the numbers don't make sense. 2-2 is operating below the level of 2-1, but 2-2 has the higher budget and the lower amount of cases filed in the court. That's a discrepancy that I don't know if we're going to be able to resolve with this current judge. I would like to get in, figure out what's going on, why the eviction rate is so high, why the disposition number is so low, why people are choosing to not file in this court, because you could choose between the two JP courts per precinct. I want to figure that out and figure out how to run a more efficient court. And I want to do it with integrity. I want to be able to preside, be fair, impartial, hear people out at least before I make a decision and execute the duties of this court the way they should be executed. Yes, that means I want to run a better court because I believe this precinct deserves better at this point. And I'm here to offer that. My youth programs, teen court. I want to bring teen court here. I think we would benefit tremendously from that. I think we would benefit from youth mental health programs, peer driven at that. I've already looked into them and I want to bring them into the ISDs. Somebody asked me about what my plan is to get teen court implemented. There's one in Wiley, but there's no other teen court serving the other ISDs. I want to get Mesquite on board with getting teen court here and then get in what's called ILAs, interlocal agreements with the other counties and their ISDs to get them on board so that we can serve this whole precinct, Wiley and Mesquite. So our children and their parents aren't having to drive way down to Dallas because they want to be close to the courtroom without being in trouble, or maybe they are in trouble. I know I entered into teen court voluntarily, and it changed the trajectory of my life. I was a teen court defense attorney, and now I'm a defense attorney in real life. This program works. I'm seeing a decline in the mental health, the cognitive abilities, the compassion, emotional intelligence overall, the critical thinking, the problem solving skills. They're not there in our youth. And I think this program and the other programs that I have in mind, if they're accepted, may help develop our youth into contributing members of a society. Um, in addition to the team programs, peer driven programs, I also want to start implementing teen town halls, is what I want to call them, where we go into schools and we have conversations with our youth. Instead of talking about them, we start talking to them and start to uncover what their real issues are, so we can meet them where they're at and address their needs. Beyond my youth justice initiatives, I also want to focus on community engagement. I don't want this to be a, oh, well, you're the friend of the judge, so you get to have a mentor, or you know this person, so you get to do that. I want this to be open to all. I want to have a summer program for youth to come and internship. They can put that on their resume in addition to being a part of teen court. That's a great resume builder. We can have teenagers graduating from high school with a full blown resume already. Those are the things that I want to start to do with the community. I want to get us together. Dale, I got, you see all these degrees back here? I guarantee you, we wouldn't even be here today if you wouldn't have helped me get on this live stream. I didn't know how to do it. You have a capacity that I don't. I lack, and you can come in and fill that void. Same with you, Stephanie. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Girl, I was never thinking about starting getting on a podcast. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. God put us all here together to help each other. So I believe that community engagement would be incredibly beneficial, but we have to prioritize it. I want to make sure that I'm hosting resume building sessions. If I'm going to evict you, if that's what it has to come to by law, I want to make sure at least you can go find a job. Job fairs. These are the community engagements activities that I want us to engage in as a court, not just for my friend group, but for the entire community. Okay. I also have a vision of transparency where people can check in on what this court is doing, where your money is actually going. Because if you pay tax dollars here in Dallas County, here in Mesquite, your money is going to pay these elected officials' salary and fund their office and the operation thereof. I want to show you what I'm doing. You're not going to have to go look up an OCA report because I want to present you with the data on my website. I want the opportunity to live stream my court as well. Now, will I request consent from the parties? Absolutely. Because I don't want to embarrass or humiliate anybody. And I know sometimes that's what eviction court can be, or even a small claim. And we're talking up to $20,000 in these courts. So I want consent, and I want to be able to live stream or film what is actually going on in my court. Because at this point, JP courts are not courts of record. That means when you walk into that courtroom, whatever happens in there, if you don't record it, and you need permission to do that, if you don't record it, nobody will know. There's no stenographer, there's no video, there's no audio. So the judge can tell you to fuck off. Unless the other opposing party or the bailiff or somebody in that room is willing to sign off saying the same. I mean, you can go out and tell people that, and then unless they're willing to sign on saying the same, you could be looking at some real trouble because all they have to say is, no, I didn't say that. I would never say that. And it's easy to believe that because you have nothing to back up your allegations with. So I want to work on things like that. I have a plethora of other things that I've envisioned for this court. I won't get into all of that right now because it is getting late. I want people to be able to enjoy their dinner and get to bed because Dallas County is active tomorrow. I got to get up and go to court myself. Um, but I do have a vision for this precinct. I hope the voters hear my heart and that they see fit to elect me as their next Justice of the Peace for Dallas County Precinct 2, Place 2.
Well, thank you. Wait a minute. You know what? I got to do you like I do everybody else. Boy, when I tell you tonight was gonna be some hot tea, I didn't know it was gonna be that hot, man. Whew, good
I was
Lord.
trying to get
Good.
emotional. I said, "Don't you get on this because this gonna be on Facebook. People gonna know you soft." But I'm a human being. Like I just am. I'm a person. Like I have a rough. Like I come off like I'm hard, and I am. You know what I'm saying? Don't play with me. Now I am. But I'm a human being at the end of the day. The beginning and the
You
end.
are. You are, and you very much, you know what? There are so many people that are rooting for you, and hold your head up. Hold your
Yes.
head up. Don't let nothing get up under your skin. You
Yeah.
know, Grandma used to say, "Let it roll like a duck, roll
Yeah.
off the back."
Well, like a
You
dove.
know,
Yeah. It's fitting that I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta. Ooh. Shout out to my yeah.
don't get those sisters up in here messing with me.
Girl. Have some
But
elegance
I think,
coming through the comments.
oh yeah, you know what? I guarantee you, your sisters are already done commented in here, and
I,
there's some people that already done stuck up for you. So you got some people that's sticking up for you.
I
So
appreciate
don't you even worry.
I really
But
do. Shout out to my 18 too. If you're still rocking with me, know that I love you from day one to the last until I'm 6 feet. You hear me? I rock with y'all. Thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate y'all, especially you, Stephanie. You've been rocking with me since the beginning of my election. I'm a beginning of my candidacy. You and Dale.
hey,
Get Dale
hey,
back up here. Dale, where you at?
they'll say I'm not finna get in this.
Dale said, I'm gonna sit off to the side. Dale,
No, no, I'm here. I'm here.
They'll say,
Yeah. Well,
You
I'm
probably made Dale go drink some brown liquor.
no, I'm good. A very, very powerful episode in the internet. I say this to all candidates. I say thank you so much for running because I know it takes a lot out of every candidate, but especially with your story, I definitely hear how, especially with some candidates, things can get a little crazy, and sometimes even worse than that. So thank you for persevering. It really shows just your strength and how you're standing up and you're speaking out, and everything that you said is recorded to YouTube. So I hope the best for you, and
thank
I hope that everyone stays safe.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Dale. And thank you again, Stephanie, for sharing your platform with me.
You're so welcome. And that's what it's here for. Candidates. We will be dedicating Wednesday to candidates to come on to the show. And you have a safe place. This is a safe place for you to say what you gotta say. And we wanna keep it 100.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Keep it 100. Y'all stay safe out there. Dell, you wanna do your promo?
Okay, all right. Let's see. For a promo, actually, I don't have that much. I can say that hello, my name is Dale Frey, and I'm running to be the clerk for the Denton County and also the Denton County Commissioner's Court. I do not have a primary, so I'm not going to actually go too much into that. I'll probably go more into that after the primaries are over. Aside from that, I'll plug the Frisco Democratic Club. We are a club that hosts two events every month. We have a happy hour and a breakfast club. The breakfast club's coming up next, and if you want to find more information about us, you come to friscodemocrats.org. Aside from that, I highly suggest coming out to Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. Especially if you're a candidate running for office, or if you just like to hear people talk, or if you want to work on public speaking, Progressive Leaders Toastmasters is a Toastmasters club where you don't have to be worried about talking about politics because everyone in the room is a Democrat. So you can learn more information about us by going to Facebook and looking up Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. We meet every single Monday at 7 p.m., both in person and online. So if you just want to check us out, find us, Progressive Leaders Toastmasters, on Facebook, and check us out on Zoom. Aside from that, Stephanie, handing it back to you.
Well, all righty then. Y'all, it's past our bedtime. It's 8:59. Lord, you know what? But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be serious though. But I really do appreciate you coming on here, Antoinette, to share your story with us all, because we all need to know what's going on. And all candidates, and even if you're not a candidate and you're sitting in office, we are in an environment that we need to feel safe. So I suggest everyone right now, we all need to be feeling safe wherever we go, especially at home. We need to feel safe at home. So I just want to say this: call a friend, call your family member that you haven't spoken to, give
Yeah.
them love, give them a forgive those that have trespassed against you, not for them, but for you. You know, because we living in some rough times, and we got an administration that is not running too tight in the head, and we need to make sure that we band together as people. So I want to take this time to say thank you all for coming on to Let's Talk About It, Steph. We're going to be back on here next Wednesday, and we probably going to be doing another little thing where we're going to have a girl talk. Dale, I may have to leave you out of this one, but you might have to do the gadget stuff, you know.
Yeah, get us set up and just let it roll down.
Yeah, yeah, Dale, you do the gadget stuff. We're gonna have to do a girl talk, girl talk show, you know, because these Candace boy, we buck wild around here. But
Man.
with
And
all
for a
that said,
JP race, for all of this for a JP race is crazy. So I can only imagine what the other candidates are dealing with.
oh, trust me, if you listen, we're gonna definitely have to talk offline. But
Okay.
thank y'all, thank y'all for coming on here. And if you love this show and this segment, please like, subscribe, and share. Because you know what, when you do like, share, and subscribe to this channel, that is our way of getting this message out to everybody. So we want everybody to know who these candidates are, what they're going through, and what they stand for. So we'll be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Don't you be late. Okay. Don't be on the late side. And I'll try not to be late too. But we need you to come on back, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. with the next hot guest. Y'all have a good night.
All right,
All
everyone.
right.